Today we are making a double-ended wire wrap with a horizontal crystal point. So it's a pretty simple design with a basic wire wrap and bail on each end. We are using 20 gauge dead soft silver wire. So we've got some basic jewelry tools as well and a ruler. To start off with this one, we just measure out about 11 inches. So this is for this size crystal. You might need a little more or a little less. To start making our bail, we just leave a little bit at the start straight, and then we start wrapping it around our round nose pliers. Just wrapping it around 2 times. Just leaving that little tail at the start straight. And then when you've wrapped it around twice, you just bring that little tail around the other piece of wire and crimp it down nice and tight. That just keeps your bail nice and secure. So I just check my loops there, make sure they're nice and straight and round, and that's our bail for one end. So just grab your crystal. It's got to be a nice long crystal. This wouldn't work on a round one or an oval shaped. It has to be a long one, so that's why these crystal points are good. So just turning your crystal side on, and then we want to just bend our bail over so it sits over the center, like that. And then we just start wrapping the wire around, making sure it's nice and tight. And I sort of just cross it over the wire once, and then just make sure you're pulling it nice and tight for each one. You don't want that crystal to have any movement or sliding or anything like that. Making sure it's nice and tight. Then when you've wrapped around most of your wire, just bring it up to the bail there to meet up with the bail, and then just start wrapping it around the bottom of the bail. And you're going to cover that other little piece of wire that you crimped right at the start. And when it's all in nice and tight, just crimp that tail down so it's all nice and secure. And just checking your loops as well, making sure they're nice and straight. Alright, so now we just go ahead and do the same thing on the other end of your crystal point. For this one here, I'm just going to do the same again, so 11 inches of wire. And then start by leaving that little tail piece at the end and wrapping it around your round nose pliers. So wrapping it around twice, and then with your little tail there, bringing it around the other piece of wire, and then crimping it down nice and tight. So just checking your loops again, making sure they're nice and round and straight. And there's your bail. Okay, so again, just bending that over so it sits over the middle. And then just gently wrapping your wire around, and then crossing it over that first wire. Just find it helps to have it on there nice and tight if you've crossed it over a few times, but just make sure you're pulling it nice and tight as well. I always try and have the same amount of wraps on each side as well, so if you've done 4 on the first side, you want to do 4 on the second side, just to make sure it's nice and even. Then just bringing your wire up to the top to meet up with your bail, and wrapping it around the bottom of the bail as well. Just crimp that tail down so it's all nice and secure. So just checking, making sure your wires are all nice and tight, that crystal's not got any movement. So you want to make sure too when you're wrapping it, just that your bails are facing the same way, so that you can then put your chain through like this. So you want to make sure that your bails are side on so that your chain can then slip through. So there we have it. It's a double-ended horizontal crystal point.